You know what it's like every day to walk around with a broken heart?
All right, you guys. So in 2009, Alyssa McLemore was a 21-year-old mother that lived in Kent, Washington. So Alyssa's family is saying that she is very family oriented. She will always be around her family and she will always be there for her family. So it wasn't a surprise that when her mom got sick with an illness, Alyssa stayed by her side and took care of her. On April 9th of 2009, things took a turn for the worse and Alyssa's mother was not doing so good. So around 6:30 p.m. on April 9th, her grandmother Barbara called her and was like, look, we don't know how long your mother's going to be here. So just come back to the house, spend some time with her, because we don't know what's next. So Alyssa did not hesitate. She told her grandmother, look, I'll be right over there. But strangely, Alyssa never came. On April 10th, which would have been that next day, dispatchers received the 911 call. Now, nobody has ever heard this 911 call. Alyssa's family did get the transcripts, but police would not let them listen. From what the transcripts say, you can hear Alyssa saying, help me. You then hear a scream, and then you hear a male voice in the background before everything shuts off. Y'all, this was in 2009. From what the police are saying, they could not track this call. But they were able to track that number, and they tracked it back to Alyssa. So police then go to Alyssa's house and they tell her family, look, is Alyssa here? Because we just got a 911 call and it sounded like somebody was in trouble. Her family is like, no, she was supposed to come home yesterday, but she didn't. So the family right then and there tried to file a missing persons report, but police was like, hey, you got to wait 24 hours. Which, let me stop the story right here. So police, you think that something is going on to the point where you go back to her home to see if she's there. Well, the family is telling you, no, she's not here. She was supposed to come home. You then tell the family you still cannot file a missing persons report. Even though you know that 911 call, you heard a scream, you heard somebody say, help me. That is the part of this case that makes me so mad, y'all. So eventually they are able to file a missing persons report. And sadly, y'all, just 3 days after she was last seen, Alyssa's mother passed away. Now, her family knows that something is wrong because Alyssa is very close to her family and close to her mother. So the fact that she knew her mother wasn't doing so well, they know for a fact Alyssa would have came back home. Not only that, y'all, she had a baby. She would never leave her baby behind.
But a Kent police officer. Police had received a frantic 911 call from Alyssa's phone.
On the 911 tape, Alyssa is asking for help.
Police never let Tina listen to the call, but they did provide her with a transcript.
There's somebody in the background telling her to come here.
So there was a sighting of Alyssa on the day of that 911 call. A witness saw Alyssa. She was talking to a Caucasian man, maybe in his 50s. This man was also in a green pickup truck, kind of older style with the Oregon license plate. From what they're saying, it looked like Alyssa knew this man, like they were familiar with each other. Now, y'all, let me say this. Green pickup truck, Oregon license plate, that should have been put on the news as soon as they got that information. But in my opinion, you guys, the police never really handled this case the correct way. Now, since around that day, there has not been any more sightings of Alyssa. But y'all, I'm going to say this. The investigator in this case is kind of giving me a weird vibe. The family, they go to him, they ask him for answers in this case, for any new information. And I just want you guys to pay attention to the energy that he's giving out.
The family wants to know why not release this 911 call to the public.
As investigators, we don't want to taint the investigation by releasing that. We will be inundated with assumptions and conclusions and, for lack of a better term, a red herring of who it could be.
So let me get this right. You got the description of the vehicle, green, older style pickup truck. You know that it's Oregon plates on it, so you know this person might have been from Oregon or was in that Oregon area at some point of time. You know that it was a Caucasian male and he had to be in his 50s or 60s. And you also have the voice of the person on that 911 call in the background. But you say that you don't want to release it because you don't want people assuming who this person could be. But y'all, that is the biggest thing in a missing persons case. You want to see who this person was last with. If y'all had to put the call out, somebody could have said, hey, I remember this truck. I know this man by the name of Mark or something like that. And this sounds exactly like him on this 911 call. It makes absolutely no sense to say we're not putting it out because we don't want people assuming. Also, listen to what he said when they asked him about searching.
Family makes a sweeping statement like, police haven't been to any of our searches. You say that's not quite the case.
Yeah, that's not, it's just, we're not in a position to say we checked here, we checked here, we checked here, because it's, notifying every place we don't find her, that's disappointing for everybody.
Why not tell the family, okay, y'all, we checked this area, she's not there, so let's go check another area so you guys don't double check that area. You're saying that we can't tell the family we're researched because we don't want to disappoint them. What? Like, y'all, this case infuriates me. Now, let me tell you what I think happened. Let me say this. Everyone is innocent until proven guilty. We're not accusing anyone of anything. But she was a dancer. She did dance. And her aunt is saying that although she was a dancer, she wasn't really into the nightlife and stuff like that. I strongly believe that a police officer might be involved in this case. Now, hear me out when I say this. I think that the investigators know exactly who that male was, who was in that truck. I think they know the voice, and I think that they don't want to put it out there because they're protecting somebody. And one of the family members even said in an interview that the police had stopped her a few times. Now, I don't know why. I don't know if she was walking, driving, or what. Y'all, I strongly believe that law enforcement is involved in this case. I don't know why. Because to have such a good description of the vehicle, of the person, of the voice, if y'all had to put that information out there as soon as this happened, y'all, the truck's description was so specific. Green truck, older style, Oregon plate. Why not just check the traffic cams if there were traffic cams at that time? You could have even talked to other people in that industry that she was in and talked to them and said, hey, do you know of this man? Does he frequent this area? Does he come to the club where she works at? I think that police did not want to solve this case. Now, you guys, this was a beautiful 21-year-old. Very sweethearted, very kind-hearted, had her whole life ahead of her, was a great mother. Didn't even get a chance to tell her mother goodbye. If you have any information on the disappearance of Alyssa McLemore, please contact police. Or better yet, contact her family. There's a group on Facebook that's dedicated to her. I would rather you contact the family if you have any information. Now, as always, make sure you blow this up, share this. Let's get some justice for Alyssa.